It's been a long time since I've done this, been here, been in front of the camera. Hey, y'all. I am here to talk about Tonya. First of all, some disclaimers. I know absolutely nothing about the whole Tonya Harding story other than what I've seen from this movie. That was a bit before my time since I am an actual child. I'm only here to talk about the film itself. Also, may I say that this is, for the most part, unscripted. I have slight notes, so we're just gonna see how this goes. Since I've gotten this all out of the way, let me talk about the fucking movie since I'm here to do that. I just saw this movie last night, so I'm still very much jacked up on it. It really took me by surprise. I'm gonna start with the characters and performances given. Let me just say, Margot Robbie is out of this world amazing. I don't know how she does the thing, and I'm not convinced that she's Australian. Let me just fact check and make sure she is in fact Australian. Her accent is fucking phenomenal. I thought maybe after doing Harley Quinn, like, she could only do that sort of American accent, which is, you know, but I don't know. I'm not here to talk about the accent. I'm here to talk about her performance as a whole, which was fantastic. It was amazing. There's a point where Tonya was about to go on the ice and she's putting on blush and she's also crying, and this scene is so amazing and believable, and I feel her performance was super strong throughout. It was just a pleasure to watch. Going off of that, Sebastian Stan, I haven't really seen in much. I know he's been in a lot. In this particular case, I felt he played a fantastic horrible person. I hated him so much, but he had this very understated quality to his character. He was incredibly abusive, but he wasn't oftentimes explosively angry, and a lot of the time it would come out of nowhere. And it was a very interesting case watching this movie because I kind of took on the role of Tonya, as in, like, I could anticipate when he was gonna become abusive. Like, there's this one scene where she has her hand on the frame of the car, and I just fucking knew that he was gonna slam the door on her fingers, and he did. And I anticipated it like 2 seconds before it happened. And it's just like a movie that can put you so much in the place of the main character, so much so that you become the main character in a sense while watching it. Is pretty amazing. I would be a fool not to mention Allison Janney's performance as Tonya's mother, which just, oh my god, like, all of these people were so horrible, and even Tonya herself was not very salvageable, but I feel like because we saw her character development and we saw that she was born and raised to be this way, like, it wasn't necessarily all of her own fault. It wasn't out of her own volition. But her mother just was so fucking awful. I continued to be amazed throughout the film, like, how awful her mother could be. And Allison Janney sold that so much so. I know that she won an award for her performance at the Golden Globes, and it's very, very rightfully deserved. Just go see the movie for her performance alone. Let me fucking chill out, drink some tea. I feel like I could really do some ASMR with this. I don't know. You know, I try to come off as professional, and I want to be professional, but at the same time, I want my channel to be authentic in a way. I am an idiot, and I feel like it would be somewhat of a sham to cut out all of these bits of me flailing because I'm so excited about this movie I can't even make cohesive thoughts. Moving on. This movie overall I felt was really bold in the choices that it made. I'm not sure if I liked half of the choices, but I appreciate and admire them for making those choices. Like, breaking the fourth wall, not just once, but like constantly throughout the movie. I don't know if it all worked. For example, when Tonya goes back to skating after having gotten fourth place in the Olympics, and she gets back with her old coach, and her coach, they're like in the forest, and her coach is like, she really did this and this and this. I didn't think I liked that, but like, what fucking movie is gonna do something like that? I appreciated that they were intentional in the choices that they made. I really liked the self-awareness that this movie had. It was just so undeniably hilarious throughout the entire thing. But then they would pull back so quickly and then just hit you with like, this is violent and cruel and sad, and like, it's not a happy story, but you're laughing the entire time and you're not even sure if you're supposed to be laughing at what you're laughing at. And I love that. It was very uncomfortable in a sense. And I loved that it was able to make me feel that way. There was a few bold cinematography choices that I thought I should at least hit on. There's the one of Tonya right before she lands the triple axel, and the camera movement follows her hand, and she like raises it up, and then it's like bird's eye view on top of her, and that was really cool. But the one I really wanted to talk about was, there's one scene, I don't remember what happens in the scene, I don't even know if I can find a clip of what I'm trying to explain, but it starts on a close-up of Sebastian Stan's character, and then it dollies out, like, all the way out onto the street, and then follows the road, but it's going backwards. That really stuck out to me. I don't know if it necessarily fit in with the rest of the movie, but I liked the shot. I should probably touch on the mise-en-scene, which was just spot on, you know? And I really felt like they built a lot of Tonya's character and origin story through the mise-en-scene without even saying anything. Like the way her childhood home looked, the costumes she wore, the way her house with her husband at the time looked. It was obviously very 80s, very tacky 80s. And I am a fan of that. I also really liked the way the interviews looked. They had sort of a faded film look to them, and I am a hoe for faded film, so I liked it. Do you ever watch something or listen to something and like halfway through listening or watching or whatever you're doing with this thing, you realize that you're experiencing something fantastic? That's how I felt watching this movie. That's how I felt watching La La Land for the first time. I don't know, after I finished it, I just sat there like with a huge grin on my face. It's so ridiculous, and they know it's ridiculous, and they embrace the ridiculousness of the situation. This movie was so incredibly sarcastic and witty. I did not expect to see what I saw when I went in there. So I highly recommend going to see I, Tonya. And on it being my first great film experience of 2018, I would like to say that Coco also, it's in the running. I know both of these films were released in 2017. I'm just getting around to seeing them now. But Coco did make me cry like a little baby, so I also would recommend going to see that as well, because it's very heartwarming. I feel like this movie is gonna stick in my mind for a long time, and I wanted to make a video about it while it was still fresh in my mind, although being fresh in my mind doesn't do much to actually help me make coherent words and things and say them in a way that makes sense. I don't know, this is just a really funny, horrible, awful movie. You should go see it.